So, welcome back to another series. This is going to be on the J. Stevens Arms and Tool Company number 14. This is a pretty rare gun. You're not going to find it in your local pawn shops, that kind of sort of thing. You might find the successor, the 14.5. It's a much more common gun. The number 14 was only made for about 3 years, from 1911 to 1913. Gonna say late 1913. Okay. This is what you call a swinging block. It's not a falling block, although I've seen it described as such many times. Like I said, it's predecessor to the 14.5. Came with a 18.5-inch tapered round barrel. The barrel was slip fit into the receiver. Underneath there's a set screw that releases that barrel from the receiver. But first you got to get through the furniture screw, which is on the bottom. It pretty much kind of screws in like the 94-78 series, of course much later. The stock itself was a one-piece stock. It was walnut. Pretty much was squared off appearance. Wasn't a whole lot of detail put into the stock, as you can see. I did have a crescent butt plate and shape, so they didn't have to shape that, but the butt plate itself was, is already pre-done, so the stock maker, whoever was working that particular area there in the J. Stevens Arms and Tool warehouse would have had to shape that stock for the steel stock butt plate. Man, I wish I could find pictures of that sort of thing. That'd be awesome. So, as I go back on up to here, as I said, the barrel was slip fit into the receiver, which doesn't make it that much stable, right? So, and it's such a slight action anyway. The action itself weighs only about just under a pound, I guess. I think something like that. The front blade sight was brass. Okay. As you can see, it's a step barrel design. That front rear sight wedge was 3/8. It was a wedge style design, pretty much like a dovetail, just slid in there. It was a V design, so you match the V up with the front brass blade sight. Underneath that walnut furniture, as I said, there was a screw up into here. All right, you release that screw, back it out. Okay, that screw corresponds up in here, and then there was a set screw that connected the barrel to the receiver. All right. Once you did that, you could lift the barrel out. Okay. The barrel in action is held in place by a single small stock screw, through the forend, like I said, up here. Trigger guard. Up in here, you have a screw here, wood screw here and here, that both connect into the stock, not into the receiver like some of them. All right. The overall length of the number 14 is around 32.5, 32.6 inches, somewhere around in there. Okay. The whole thing weighs under about 2.5 pounds. This receiver underneath the walnut furniture, it's all a forging. It's not, a folded, stamped metal type receiver. It's all a forging that was machined out for all of this action. Okay, you have on your Manual cock hammer is a half cock, and you can go all the way back. It doesn't have an automatic ejector like a lot of the early Stevens shotguns at the time. They have the automatic ejector, what they call an automatic extractor, which I don't really know what that means. I mean, basically when you go to operate the action, it lifts this rim out enough for you to grab a hold of the cartridge or shell itself, the rim, and pull it out. Okay, it's the same way with a lot of these early 1900s shotguns. For whatever reason, there was a group that had the automatic ejector where it shot it out with a spring out this way, or there was also another group that preferred extracting it by hand. Depends on what your group you're in that you want to praise that or admonish it, whatever. Let's see, this whole action, once you remove there's a knurled set screw right here. All right, once you remove that, you remove the set screw that removes the barrel from the receiver. Now, like I said, the receiver was a forging, okay? And there's a recoil spring, a one-piece recoil spring and guide ride that goes back into here, okay? Once you remove all this, you can see that, all right? And if you're having problems with the hammer stand back or any of those sorts of problems, you'll be able to see that pretty apparent. Either the spring is broke or it's in some way molested or stretched out, something like that. If you have any questions about that and you're having problems with their rifle, you can email or text me, either my Facebook page at Stevens Collector or the Instagram at Stevens Collector or the YouTube. Okay, I'll try and help you out, see if I can locate one. If not, we'll see if we can't manufacture one. I'm getting to the point where I could start manufacturing bits and pieces of these guns, okay, like small scale. I'm a one-man guy, so we'll try and get that done for you, because I want to see these guns brought back into service, because the more they're in service, the more they're not out of the world of apathy or relegated to farm guns or truck guns or anything like that. They need to be taken care of for the future generations, all right? They don't need to be bouncing around in the toolbox of your truck, that sort of thing, especially this one. It's a pretty rare gun, and it's for Douglas Shand. Douglas is, he's got a Facebook page, Single Shot Rifles, I believe is the name, and he's one of the admins on there, but he's also a member of this group. So when you give him praise to bring this to my attention, I've been meaning to do a video on these guns. It's just I'm more of a single barrel shotgun collector. I do have a number of these guns and many other guns, as well as single barrel shotguns. That's just my favorite, all right? But I do collect these, some of the older, what they call a tip-up gun. So, yeah, I'm probably, at this point, one of the preeminent collectors of these guns, and as far as knowledge, I won't say I'm the best to come to, but because I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything, especially with Stevens. They used a lot of different parts. They changed out barrels and stuff to come up with new designs, trigger guards, all that sort of thing. All right, I think we've just discussed this before, but yeah, it's kind of one of those things. You kind of have to be around it for years and years and years to be able to spot certain things. You know, at first I thought, I guess I'll post a picture of Douglas Shan's gun, to see what I'm talking about. But at first I thought it was a transitional gun, because at this time period, because the 14 was only made for about 3 years, it was replaced by the 14 and a half. All right. The number 11 came after that, and the number 11 looks so similar until you remove the walnut furniture, and then you can the apparent difference is screaming. All right. So maybe we'll go over that. I can't get to the 14. I have a few of those, and they're way back in the warehouse. So we're just going over what I have right now, because Douglas asked, and I want to give him the best information that I have available. Okay. Now, unfortunately, these guns are rare, extremely rare. All right. But that doesn't always equate to value, unfortunately. So, from what I can see, these guns, number 14s, are trending. Let's take it back a bit. All right, so about 5 years ago, you could pick up one of these guns for between $100 and $150. All right, in pretty decent condition. You know, if not decent condition, it was a condition you could do very little to it and add to the value. Okay, now people always say don't screw with vintage guns. All right, well, that's good if your gun is in good shape. If it's not, you're not going to get very much. If you go to resell, or you're making on some kind of collector value. All right. I have never seen number 14 in what I would call excellent to near excellent condition. All right. They're always kind of one of those guns that was kind of neglected and put back in the corner, but never like bouncing around in the truck or in the farm barn or something like that, where it's all rusted. I have seen those too, but the ones that usually come up for sale are the ones that are in kind of good condition. Okay. You're going to see more 14 and a halves and 11s than you are going to see the 14s. It's just, like I said, it was only made for 3 years, so you're not going to see a whole lot come up for sale, period. Does that mean it's desirable? Of course. You know, when you're collecting Stevens firearms, I don't care what the market value says, okay? Like, and I've been a long-time critic of Flaterman's and other publications like that who don't put much value on Stevens, period. I don't care if it's a custom gun shop offering, which, you know, only operated for 3 or 4 years, you know, for guns like the 185, the 500 series special order engraved guns, you know, the 530, 535. Those guns are exceptionally rare. Doesn't mean that they equate to value, unfortunately. It's getting there now. It's getting there, okay? As more and more people realize that these guns bounce around in trucks, in toolboxes, or tackle boxes, as far as the tip-up pistols, stuff like that, you're not going to find exceptional examples of those guns with that kind of attitude, the apathy, the neglect, what have you, okay? Now, depending on the condition of the gun, you'd probably have to ask me or one of the other, you know, experts out there as far as whether it's feasible to have them restored by a knowledgeable professional. Okay, let's go, you know, with your flap wheel in there and trying to restore these guns because you're going to destroy the value, period. Okay? So we'll go into more that sort of thing later on in some videos. I'm going to do some draw filing videos, some rust bluing videos, some color case hardening videos, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're going to get into that, but this is just kind of a preliminary, I guess, view, more for the sake of my friend Doug. I value his friendship. I value member into, he has a Facebook group, like I said earlier, you know, single shot rifles or something or another, right? Something to that extent. I'm a member of a lot of her groups, so I kind of get confused on that. But yeah, we'll go over this rifle a little bit later on. I have a couple in my inventory way back in the warehouse. I couldn't locate them, but I did locate this book. It's an older book. It's out of print now, which I have a pretty extensive library as far as this stuff is regarding. But like you see here, you got a half cock. You don't need a manual safety, nothing like that. Extraordinary gun, very rare. Of course, not anywhere near as rare as the number 185 12 gauge that I posted before this. But if you guys have any questions as far as the operation of this gun, what you can expect if you purchase one, what to look for, just give me a holler. You know, I'm always here at either Steven's Collector at Facebook, Steven's Collector at Instagram, Steven's Collector at YouTube, any one of those three. You know, just go ahead and subscribe to the link. You know, give me a like if you enjoy this sort of thing. I'll try to go over more in depth. I've got a video that I've been working on about the history of J. Stevens Arms and Tool Company, all the way up to the Savage era and beyond. So we'll go through that then. So I like to explain. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's see if we can get some more of these guns off the shelves of pawn shops, off the backs of trucks, out of toolboxes, what name you, you know, and put them in our vaults to save them for our offspring and our legacies. You know, these guns are important. A lot of these guns were the first guns for many a child, you know. Of course, going beyond this gun, you know, the favorites and stuff like that, you know, a lot of those guns were, even though, you know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands were made as far as the favorite. But if you keep treating them the way they've been treated the last few decades, you're not going to have that many in great condition. So let's take care of our guns, all right? If you guys got any questions, please email me at republicanarms.com or republicanarms@gmail.com. Always open for questions. I'll try and answer them. So, all right, you guys have a good one. Bye.